This whole line of migrants currently being apprehended by Border Patrol, and in a short time they'll be loaded right onto this bus. They look for these spots along the wall where the border wall ends to be able to cross into the U.S. Sometimes they'll pull up a feed of Karen Taylor Robeson's election night party on those projectors back there. The crowd will go into a chorus of boos. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey has been pushing D.C. to close these gaps, but now he's tired of waiting, using state money to buy shipping containers like these to build Arizona's own version of the border wall. Construction of the shipping container wall continued in the Yuma sector today, but there are still legal questions about this project. A microburst which rolled through Winter Haven, California, literally ripped power poles out of the ground. You can see multiple down across Picacho Road. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said it's not like migrants are just walking across the border. As you can see here in Yuma, that's exactly what's happening. The morning of Senator Kelly's visit to Yuma, big groups of migrants continued to cross into the United States. The gaps he's pushing to close are actually a few miles north of where I'm standing. All of these migrants crossing at the Cocopah Reservation. You can see where the border wall ends as it meets the reservation. The migrants simply walk around it to enter the country. The federal government, as of right now, doesn't have permission to build barrier on that sovereign land. This group of migrants makes up just a couple hundred of the over 200,000 who have come through the Yuma sector this fiscal year, saying they crossed here because of the gaps in the wall and hope to find a better life in the United States. There was a river we had to cross. Then we looked for a part of the fence that is open that we can walk through.
I'm leaving Peru because there are no economic opportunities.
As the sun rises, some migrants are still here waiting, even 4 hours after our interview. Soon after, U.S. Senator Mark Kelly's border tour begins. Taking a look at the gaps in the wall, he continues to push the Biden administration to close, which Kelly says will benefit law enforcement and local ag businesses.
This is an operational issue for Border Patrol.
But it's unlikely closing the gaps would deter migrants from crossing. Due to Title 42, ports of entry are closed to migrants seeking asylum in the U.S., meaning they are pushed to illegally cross to make a legal asylum claim. With other gaps like the 7 miles of open border at the Cocopah Reservation and the majority of wall from Los Algodones down to San Luis being inside the actual border, closing the gaps is just one piece of the border security puzzle.
The best approach to, seeking asylum is to go to a port of entry. That's where we're going to see the process work the best, not, walking, through the desert. That's not safe for anybody.
Senator Kelly says contractors will be in Yuma over the next few weeks surveying the wall, and that the first construction proposal will hopefully be approved by the end of September. Yuma continues being the third busiest of the 9 border sectors in terms of total apprehensions. Reporting in Yuma, Adam Klepp, News 11. This is the border wall built by the federal government, but the problem is it stops right here, leaving open gaps in the Yuma border. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey has been pushing D.C. to close these gaps, but now he's tired of waiting, using state money to buy shipping containers like these to build Arizona's own version of the border wall to help local and federal law enforcement deal with the ongoing crisis. Shipping containers, each weighing over 8,000 pounds, stacked on top of one another with razor wire going on top, currently costing Arizonans over $6 million in an effort to secure the border.
Once they make it unimpeded through these gaps into the United States, they can really go anywhere from there, and it causes chaos.
Arizona Department of Homeland Security Director Tim Romer says while this construction is taking place on federal land, the state of Arizona is taking matters into their own hands.
The situation is so dire that it needs to be focused on immediately, and that's why we're taking significant action today.
Taking action nearly 8 months since the Biden administration said they'd be closing the wall gaps, but no signs of construction starting soon.
I am grateful to the governor for stepping up.
Yuma County Supervisor Jonathan Lyne says it's an important step to close the gaps, helping law enforcement better allocate their resources and keep humans safe. He's also confident this construction will not negatively impact the ag industry along the border.
We've had the opportunity to work with local farmers, all of whom have signed off on both plans for the temporary and for the permanent fencing.
Even with the shipping container wall going up, Yuma Mayor Doug Nichols is keeping the local emergency due to the border issues in place.
At this point, there's still no dramatic change in how the flow's coming. So for this part, we're still holding tight with the proclamation.
While the construction plans call for filling in the gaps on federal land, the state cannot build on the Cocopah Reservation, where migrants continue crossing nightly, seeking asylum and a better future in the United States. I left my family in Cuba to have a better future. Reporting in Yuma, Klepp, News 11. In a daily briefing, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said it's not like migrants are just walking across the border. As you can see here in Yuma, that's exactly what's happening. A confusing statement on Monday after a reporter asked the White House press secretary why the U.S. is requiring those who enter the country by plane to be fully vaccinated, but not those who are illegally crossing the southern border on foot.
But it's not like somebody walks over and that's not how.
Exactly what's happening. Thousands of people are walking in a day.
After the statement, Arizona Governor Doug Ducey tweeted, "The White House is clueless. This negligence is exactly why Arizona took action to close the border wall gaps near Yuma." Despite the pushback, Karine Jean-Pierre later doubled down on the administration's stance.
It is not that simple. It's not just that people are walking across the border.
Due to Title 42, most migrants cannot seek asylum at ports of entry, pushing them to cross illegally between ports to make a legal asylum claim. The administration did attempt to end the policy in May, but a lawsuit brought by the state of Arizona has kept it in place. Alexei was one of the migrants who walked into Yuma early Tuesday morning. He says while crossing the border was easy, the journey he took to get to the U.S. from Cuba was difficult.
We walked through checkpoints, mountains, rivers, and jungles, through the rain, everything. We are hungry and thirsty.
Alexei is just one of the over 230,000 migrants who have crossed into Yuma this fiscal year. Yuma agents are on pace to apprehend over 250,000 migrants by September 30th, which would break the sector record by over 100,000. Reporting in Yuma, Klepp, News 11.